Attendance or assignments? What reveals students' true seriousness?
My wife was very strong that she supported me very nicely.
What things keep you awake at night? Do you believe in astrology?
Tea, coffee or meetings? Which one I prefer most?
Yes.
They are losing the touch with the reality. Sometimes they start to live in a more kind of a kind of fancy world, and rather than overlooking the societal responsibility or the realities of the world. Don't say it publicly, otherwise tomorrow I'll be getting a lot many.
AIs will replace human work or human teaching way.
Hi, I'm Anantika, and this isn't just a podcast. It's a space for raw stories, for honest emotions, and for conversations that stay with you. You will hear voices from everywhere: athletes, educators, artists, celebrities, homemakers. No age limits, no topic barriers. Just real people with real tales to tell. The True Tales podcast presented by BTV Tripura in collaboration with ecstaticanantika.
Welcome back to the another inspiring episode of the True Tales podcast in collaboration with Amity University Chhattisgarh, brought to you by BTV Tripura. I'm your host Anantika, and today's episode is truly inspiring. Our today's guest is a person who shapes people, whose vision, whose ideas make more beautiful, better place for our generation. It is none other than the Vice Chancellor of Amity University Chhattisgarh, Honorable Professor Dr. Piyush Kant Pandey, sir. Thank you, sir, for joining us today in our studio.
Anantika.
And it is a great honor for us to get you today.
It's my pleasure.
Today we will explore your thoughts, ideas, and your journey.
Thank you.
So firstly, I want to know that what originally inspired you to take the role or take the position of Vice Chancellor, and how you look in today's education from this position.
Thank you, Anantika. The decision of taking education as my profession was based upon the tradition, family tradition which I am having. My great-grandfather was in education, my father was in education, and so obviously it was natural for me to be drawn more towards education. And when I entered into the education, obviously I liked the education because I always liked the power to change the lives that education is having. And that I started with that. And then I became a very avid researcher. I became a very accomplished environmental researcher and did a lot of projects of national and international importance. In that process, I realized that many times administrative issues are also equally important that can shape the overall development. Then I thought of taking administration also and institution building also as one of my part of my profession. And that institution building process, which I started with 3 last institutions, that ultimately culminated into me becoming the Vice Chancellor of the Amity.
Okay, sir. And in upcoming after 5 years in future, how you look at Amity University Chhattisgarh, like what changes you want, like which only a Vice Chancellor can do?
See, as a Amity, I must tell you, Amity is one of the finest education system which our country is having, which is not only national, rather it is international in its standing. And the NEP we talk about nowadays is a new education policy which has come in 2020. But I'll tell you, Anantika, that Amity was so far-sighted that we had almost all the elements of a new education policy already embedded in our system. So this is something I like it very much. I feel that it has to be nurtured even more, and it has to be interspersed with the real exposure to either the industry or the society. That would be my call.
And that I can agree to as being a Amitian.
Thank you.
And what is the biggest gap between today's generation and real world?
Only the biggest gap which I feel in the modern student is that, everyone wants to achieve something big in life. But every big achievement also requires a constant working. And in fact, one success on one particular day, a person is selected for IAS, a certain person has become a big officer in a tech industry. That behind that particular successful day, there are thousands of the nights where had been burning the midnight oil. So that kind of a passion and also sincerity for work and for the goal is something which is needed in the today's student.
And what do you think our generation lack?
Aspirations are there, but preparedness to devote that energy and kind of a work plan and converting the dreams into reality, the kind of conviction which is required, it needs more strengthening in many of the students.
And what are the positive things our generation have?
This generation, I'm in fact, since almost like now 40 years, I have been in the touch with the student. Every new generation had been, that way a new experience for me. I have been watching every 5 years, the generation is changing. And every new student generation which is coming, they are becoming, I'm finding more and more curiosity is there, more and more ability to learn, particularly the tech savvy, they are becoming more and more tech savvy. But what I lament is that they are losing the touch with the reality. Sometimes they start to live in a more kind of a kind of fancy world, and rather than overlooking the societal responsibility or the realities of the world. That is one field I think I miss.
Okay, thank you, sir. And if you get the chance to redesign the higher education system, what thing you want to remove or change or want to add?
On that front, I must say that in fact for a pretty long time our education system was not up to the international standards. Particularly I am talking about India. Amity had been very foresighted, as I said in the beginning, that we had those elements already. Now those elements have been introduced by NAP. I wish that they become even more powerful. For example, if we put an industry immersion, this one, there should be a real immersion where the student really goes to industry, really learns over there, and maybe he is mentored by a proper faculty being present in that industry. That could be desirable. Similarly, if a student is from social sciences, then this where real social immersion should be there, or a real business immersion should be there. So that practical exposure I need to increase more.
Okay. Like your words are truly like inspiring and so strongly bold. What is one belief that you had unlearned and you had learned to shape your personality or shape yourself?
Learned and unlearned, two questions are there. So learned is that one thing I learned is that only hard work is not key to success. The hard work has to convert into smart work. That's more important. Many times you have to learn the art of delegation also, identifying the person who can really do the job more properly and empowering them so that they can convert the task into achievable target. That is something I have learned more and more into this particular job. And what is unlearned is that the same belief that hard work is everything.
Do you think grades really matter?
Grades don't, to be frank, it's not that the person who's having lower grade is good for nothing. But the thing is that ultimately it gives an idea about the overall upbringing, overall discipline which the student is having in his student career. So, though I won't be calling it as everything, only the grade should not be the criteria for selection for anything, but grades do indicate a performance pattern.
Okay. And there is like that I truly get inspired by you. Your leadership has always been so effortless. Like when you are entering, the aura becomes so positive and vibrant. So personally, what challenges you have faced, like toughest challenge that you personally faced but nobody knows about that?
Thank you, Anantika, first of all, for that praise. I am really happy to hear it from a young student from my university.
I always say that.
So nice of you. But at the same time, behind this kind of confidence which I portray, lies a lot of uncertainty, lot of doubts in my own mind, and lot of things I have to see that behind the back. I have to see that, I have to ensure that they are working, because vice chancellor is one person representing as a top person of the university, but at the same time it's a team effort. So making all the teams, even this team, even the smallest person like a sweeper or a conductor or the driver is also equally important. So ensuring that all teams are functioning very properly, that is certainly an honorable, very, very onerous task. So that is something. And when the system is set, and I always believe in a system functioning. So if the system is set, I feel then the organization can be successful, and I will be successful as a vice chancellor.
Okay. And if today or like someday a student comes to your office and like truly hopeless and like no career he or she is finding, or like totally depressed about like his or her career, what advice or guidance you will give to them?
Good question. Firstly, if I'll tell to the student, if he's feeling lost and hopeless, I'll say it is rather the beginning of the reverse, because I always believe things go in a pattern in which a wave pattern is there. If a person is on the trough position, that is in a wave, that the lowest position is called a trough. If a student is on the trough position, or any person is on the trough position, now there is no other way he can go. He has to rise up. So identifying that you are hopeless and lost and you are seeking support and guidance from someone, that's the beginning of the correction. So it is not hopeless, rather it is a sign that now improvement is on the cards.
Okay. And what do you think is more relevant in today's world? Qualification, skills and co-curricular activities?
Well, qualifications don't really open the door for everything. They are only, I consider them as an entry ticket. But without entry ticket, you cannot enter in any particular place. So qualifications themselves, they have the value, but they need to be augmented more with the real skills. Whatever job you are going to, whatever profession you are taking it up, it requires certain skills also. So those skills need to be mastered, and co-curricular activities give a chance to identify the hidden aspects of personality within every student. So co-curricular activity or extracurricular activity, both are also equally important. So I would say it is a very good mixture of all three. You need to have a good degree from a good institution, you need to have good skills also, and that should be augmented by co-curricular and extracurricular activities.
Okay, sir. What is one unconventional idea that if you bring to Amity University Chhattisgarh, initially people might resist or people might not like, but eventually it might be positive for university?
Not only for university, for whole country or for the whole world. We need to be true to what is our task is there. We need to be really committed to it. I have seen that for example, I'll give you an example. I was in Europe for my fellowship which is there. My PhD fellowship was there. I saw even the dead of the night, 2 o'clock, on a traffic signal, I saw people waiting for the red light to convert into green when no one else is there. That kind of a commitment to the rules and regulations, and dedication to the nation or to the cause is something I admire in certain these societies, and I wish it should be much more. It's already there, but it need to be much more in our country and our system or made in our university.
Okay, sir. As a Vice Chancellor, it sounds with lots of weight, lots of responsibilities. What things keep you awake at night?
The students' well-being and safety. I would always say that these are the two things which certainly keeps me awake at the night. That apart from everything else, the students' well-being and safety are important, and also the many influences which are society is undergoing a lot of changes, because a lot of changes are there. So amongst all the changes, how the well-being of students and their safety need to be ensured. That is my important area which I feel concerned.
That's why I feel always positive from you.
Thank you.
And do you believe in astrology?
Astrology, yes. I mean, I won't say that I'm a staunch astrologist that I see and do everything by muhurta. No, not that kind of astrology. But I do believe Indian knowledge system, because ultimately astrology is based upon Indian knowledge system, and it is based upon the observation which our ancestors did from the centuries, olden times. And their calculations are so accurate that even the panchangs which we are using today, if you see that, and if you see the Amavasya falling, when the Amavasya is there, when the solar eclipse is there, or when the lunar eclipse is happening, they'll all be falling at the same time, irrespective of this year or maybe 10 years onward or maybe 50 years onward. So I believe that this astrology is based upon a mathematical science which has been developed by observation, and therefore there is some truth in it there. But I treat it as a interest topic only. I don't make it a kind of my calling and taking every decision by astrology. But yes, I take interest, and I feel that it's a good subject to learn.
I asked this question intentionally because he's saying he's not that good in that, but one day he saw my one and I was like, wow, he is really good. Like the professional astrologer, what they said and what sir said, it was perfectly similar, and he is a good astrologer. I can say that.
Don't say it publicly, otherwise tomorrow I'll be getting a lot many. These one also.
He's still practicing, he's saying, but yes.
I'm only a novice, I will say.
And what do you think, like nazar and evil eye, does that exist?
These are some superstitions also. See, negative energy is there. See, ultimately, whole world is made of two things only, mass and energy. And Einstein had given a very good relationship between them. That really, in fact, the credit for which goes to the Indian knowledge system. But unfortunately, anyway, we'll not discuss that. So, energy and mass, these are the two basic things. And therefore, negative energy is there. But anybody can cast only by seeing and make you something bad for you. It's not there.
Yeah. And I believe if you believe in that thing, then your aura becomes weak. Is it right?
Exactly, very correct. In fact, I have seen that in my life, that those who are having poor, their own self-confidence. That's one very important point, is that I have seen that those who suffer from poor self-confidence or poor self-image, they fall more to this kind of a problem rather than those who are strong-willed. So I feel it has more to do with the will of a person rather than the real power of the so-called witchcraft or whatever we are talking about. So being strong-willed is a very important insurance against all kind of problems in the life.
Okay, sir. And how you balance your family and this profession?
Well, I'll be true to this one, that maybe I had given less time to my family rather than to my research and my organization. And in that area, my wife was very strong, that she supported me very nicely, that particularly in the formative year of my children also, and for making my house proper, she takes a lot of care. I'm in charge of all external and major decisions, but all this kind of important things she decides.
Okay. Sir, one thing you want the students of Amity to say after they graduate from here?
I wish they should say that Amity has not given us degree, but it has made us. It has made us what we are today. That is what I want to hear. And this thing, many of my past students from the organizations where I had worked, I had heard from many of them, and the same has been told to me by Amitians also. I wish that every student should be able to say that Amity has made me.
Okay, sir. Now we will move towards a fun segment.
Sure.
Where our audience will find it funny and some poll call session will happen.
Okay.
Okay, so it's a rapid fire round. So you are a morning person or night thinker?
I get up early in the morning, but most of my research or maybe this kind of activities I do more in night.
Okay. Tea, coffee or meetings?
Tea, coffee or meetings? Which one I prefer most?
Yes.
Prefer part, if you say, obviously it will be some kind of a beverage.
Okay.
Right?
And like you have to.
But as a part of my profession, meetings I cannot say no to the meetings.
Okay. So with coffee, meetings with coffee. It can.
Oh, well, now I have to be careful how much coffee or tea my intake is there.
Okay. One word your colleague would use for you.
How can I answer? This has to be answered by my colleagues only. If you ask them.
What do you think they might say to you? Like one word, like you are like this.
Oh, well, I don't want to take a guess on this one.
Okay.
Because I feel this will be depending on each, I have seen in the life, there are two kind of people. One is that who see positive in everything, or at least that they are more positive than being negative. And the second kind of people who are always negative. So, the answer of this question which you are asking me, it depends on the person and his own mentality what he is having.
Yes, definitely.
I feel that applies to all of us.
Yes.
The same, in fact, wonderful leader of our country, I would say our Honorable Prime Minister is there. There will be a group of people will be saying a wonderful people what he has made the country where it is standing. There will be others say that the country has been destroyed and all that. So, particularly in these positions of higher this one, we will always be having these two kind of opinions. So we can never really say like that.
Okay. And a book that changed your perspective?
On that matter, in fact, it's so difficult for me to name a single book. But so many books, and but I had been a voracious reader. Right, in fact, I started my father's library because my father was a professor of the literature. So my house was filled with all the shelves were full of the books. I had read almost every single book in the shelves. Then I started borrowing the books from my father's library also. I was scolded also sometimes that why are you reading so thick books. But anyway, at the same time, I have so many different books on the different occasions or different areas. But Freedom at Midnight, for example, or the Tamas, the one is by Bhishma Sani in Hindi, and this one. Particularly that tells me from how difficult the freedom of India was. We do not really know. We take this for granted our freedom. But 1947 was a very difficult time. And it has seen we talk about Holocaust and all of the Nazis this one, but more bigger and more horrific thing has already taken place in our country. So Freedom at Midnight by Larry Collins and Tamas by Bhishma Sani, they portray to some extent all the realities which had taken place at that time.
Okay. A book you would recommend from the age group 17 to 24, that they must read that book to build their personality or perspective towards life?
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Okay. Okay. Your go-to stress buster during hectic days?
I feel that this is a long walk.
Okay. A habit you never skip no matter how busy you are?
Keeping in touch with my children. Now they are away, but keeping in touch with them.
Okay. One leadership trait you value the most?
Sincerity and punctuality.
A leadership trait you think is overrated?
Hard work.
Decisions you take from heart or mind?
I take from mind, but that has to be taken with the empathy.
Okay. One rule you are strict about?
I feel that we should be more punctual about our activities and more committed to whatever we have taken up.
Okay. One student quality you admire the most?
Curiosity.
One thing you wish students took more seriously?
Curiosity, which I told is a trait, that curiosity has to be coupled with a conviction to convert into a reality.
Okay. Attendance or assignments? What reveals students' true seriousness?
Here also I'll say attendance is important, because many times what really happens, that what is being taught, you may be feeling that it is not useful, this one, but at one fine day when you are in a difficult situation, that same knowledge which you have taken in a class might be helpful to you. So attendance is important, but assignments, if done properly, important point is that if the assignment is not copied and all this one, if assignment is done properly, if the ownership is there, then it's a expression of your talent.
Do you think our generation is more dependent on AI's ChatGPT?
Yeah, that is one challenge, I think, which all the educators and we are facing now, and we are in the process. Of course, it is developing, because AI is a new technology which has developed. I feel that now the rote learning kind of a thing, and the way it has to change now, particularly with the AI, simply like remembering something and putting on the paper, and has to change now. And AI at the moment is challenging the traditional way of the teaching. So we need to find ways how to more productively, more properly induct into our regular teaching and learning process.
Do you think in upcoming future AIs or AIs will replace human work or human teaching way?
No, never. Example I'll give you, during COVID time, we had online classes and all that, and in fact that way it did a lot to the online kind of a teaching, and remote teaching, that kind of a thing has established very nicely. But I had seen that is still today a human touch is very, very important. When a teacher and taught develop a kind of this thing where the human touch is there, where a teacher can provide the empathy to the student's problem and help them either for to learn the subject also, or to solve a problem of their own life, then it converts into a major achievement, or major transformation can be there by this human touch, which might be missing, or rather which does miss in artificial intelligence.
Okay, sir. One thing you want to change in campus culture immediately, or in every culture, education culture, like not education based, but our generation based and student based?
As a generation, again I'm saying that we need to understand, I feel that education is a great gift. It should not be a mere formality for earning a degree and then searching for a job. No. You are, as a being over here in Amity University, or anyone in a place of learning, it's a great privilege you are having. There are lakhs of students are there, maybe crores of students are there, which don't have the opportunity to come to that particular place. So that should be realized, that you are one who is fortunate enough, and you should have a goal to convert this opportunity, which you or any student is having, to convert into something good for personally himself, his family, and his society.
Okay. Why do you think like our generation, like which is happening, our generation is more tilted into negativities and bad influence, and how one should like overcome from that?
It's a very good question. In fact, this is something which really bothers me. And Anantika, I feel that now, in fact, the social media, in fact, the too much reliance on social media, right from in the morning when the students are getting up till the point they are falling asleep, they're all the time in a virtual world, and they're treating the virtual friends or the virtual interactions or virtual comments or this one as a reality of the life. They are missing the touch from the reality, missing the touch from the society, and this one. So this is something I feel is something which need to be corrected, and the student need to understand that only the virtual world is not everything. And even if one has failed somewhere, doesn't mean the end of life. It's the beginning of maybe it should giving you a position where that you have to bounce back and go to the higher this one. Human life is a wonderful gift of the God. This most wonderful gift of the God should be used and understood by each of the student and each of the person, and we should try and make every effort to make this reality and good for ourselves and our the humanity, and for ultimately the God.
Thank you, sir. And a stereotype about VCs you secretly find funny.
Wow. Well, maybe in fact attending too many meetings. That's a requirement we have to do, and many times because when you deal with a large number of people, so it becomes imperative also to have the meetings. It's not that meetings are a mere on a useless space. Sometimes it's very required to have the meetings. So many times, in fact, I wish to be more on the moving and mingling with the student, but my VC responsibilities forces me to be in my meeting chamber.
Okay. If you weren't a VC or Vice Chancellor, what job you would be doing or what job you would like to do?
Even while being VC, I'm continuing. I'm a very good, I shouldn't say I'm very good, but at least I'm a very well published and well kind of research I have been doing in environmental science and engineering. So I would have been environmental scientist and researcher also. And in the meantime, I had been a policy, because I was a regulator also with the government of Chhattisgarh, particularly in the field of environment. So I would have been working as either as a researcher or as a policy strategist.
Okay. One myth about higher education that you want to break.
One myth. It's not the end of the life, it's the beginning, and now it's the end of the road. Your higher education is not the end of the road, that you want the degree and now the chapter is closed. No, it's the beginning.
Okay. One sentence which will define your work philosophy.
My work philosophy. Again, I will say that believe in something and convert into a reality.
Okay. One message you want to give to the students of today's generation.
Be curious, be experimenting, keep learning, and ultimately remember that you are here with a great purpose, and find the calling within you and convert into something useful for you.
Okay. And what qualities or what things a student must have to achieve their career goals and personal achievement, be it co-curricular or studies, but what things they must have to achieve something?
As I said, that potential, having a potential is not everything. Every student, I feel, is having a potential. That potential needs proper channelizing, that which is the area where your potential, ultimately the society needs the potential of the youngsters, the further development of the nation, our own country. Now we have become the 5th largest economy, very soon we are going to the 3rd, maybe 2nd also. It requires the demands of the society of our nation will be changing. What is required is that students should identify that what is their calling, which area they can do very well, and orient themselves with the need of that particular purpose, and that will be changing, that will be very dynamic. Whatever you have learned today, if you keep on banking on that only, it's not going to help you. So continuously learning and unlearning and continuous development is the need which is there for the students.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. It was a great pleasure and honor to get you today in the studio, and your words truly inspired us and audience, your thoughts, your ideas, and obviously I personally loved the aura and positivity that I always say that I get from you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you Anantika, thank you very much.
This was all about today's episode. For more inspiring, fun and true stories, keep your eyes on BTV Tripura screen. Thank you.